Hello, my name is Tracy Sorko, and I will be presenting my analysis on CNX Resources. I have worked here for 7 years, and I'm currently on the data and analytics team. I hope you enjoy learning about the company, the industry we operate in, and some of the factors that affect our operations. CNX Resources is an exploration company based in Canonsburg, PA. A little less than 2 years ago, we were part of another company called Consol Energy, which was a coal mining company. So at the end of 2017, to avoid investor confusion, they didn't know how to evaluate us since we had both of those divisions. We decided to split, and we became an independent natural gas producing company. As you can see from the map on the right, this is the entire Marcellus Shale area, Marcellus and Utica, and our operating regions are primarily focused in the Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia areas. The natural gas drilling industry in our specific area is relatively new. As you can see from the chart, drilling didn't really begin in this area until 2005. Geologists discovered that there were 500 trillion cubic feet of natural gas trapped inside the Marcellus and the Utica shales. And once they did, companies started showing up to try to tap into this. The graph to the left shows the increase in the number of wells that were drilled per year, and that's just for Pennsylvania. I mentioned before the two types of shale are the Marcellus shale and the Utica shale, with the Utica shale being deeper than Marcellus. So what this does is this provides a stacked pay opportunity. An operator can develop a pad and they can drill down and tap into the Marcellus shale and then also into the Utica shale. This helps to reduce production costs. I'd like to introduce some of the key players in this industry in our particular basin. If you look at the chart on the left, you can see I have all the operators that are in this basin listed by total number of wells that they've drilled. Range Resources, as you can see, is at the top with 960 wells. That's because they were the first operator to begin drilling back in 2005. All the operators that are listed here, we consider those our primary competitors for a variety of reasons, but some of the metrics that we look at in order to rank us, in order to do a comparison, we look at production volumes, which is measured in cubic feet, and we also look at operational efficiencies. How economically can you produce the gas? We also, in order to pick operators that we will compare against, we will look at similar footprints. We would never look at an operator that's operating in Oklahoma, for example, because that type of rock is different and how they would drill and complete those wells is very different. So we want to do an apples to apples comparison. All the operators that you see listed here are operating in the Marcellus and Utica areas. Next, I'd look at some of the external factors that affect CNX and all other operators equally. The political, sociocultural, and legal factors all have a common theme. Our industry usually comes with very volatile opinions about how you feel about natural gas drilling. And because of that, politicians have opinions about it. The people that living in communities where we operate have opinions. And because of this, all those things actually have effect on us as an operator in this region. The different elected officials, as we have different elections, that can change the different folks that are in office, and therefore that can affect the laws that are created. We are heavily regulated by the federal, state, and local governments, and so whoever is in office at a particular time can change those laws as they see fit. Also, too, because we're in communities operating, we also occasionally get faced with different legal action from environmental groups and also from landowners that will try to prevent us from operating. So these are all strong factors that can play against our industry. Economically, our industry has provided a lot of additional revenue to the states that we operate in through impact fees and taxes. We also provide a lot of jobs and support local businesses. Additionally, we've brought in new businesses to this area because this new business needed to have new service providers and new supplies. We've also impacted secondary economies such as housing, hotels, retail, and restaurants. Technology, we're a highly technological industry, and we're always working with different companies, different technology companies to improve our processes and in order to increase our production volumes and to operate in the most safe and compliant manner. Next, I wanted to review the 5 forces that have an effect on all operators in this industry. The bargaining power of suppliers and buyers have, both of them I have marked as a high risk, and both of these, whether you're a supplier or a buyer, these are driven by the force of the gas prices. So for suppliers, any supplier to our industry, they will, in a low gas price environment, they will lower their prices because they know that we have reeled back operations and we're looking to save money. Additionally, when there's high prices, as prices go up, we amp up operations, and they want a piece of the pie as well, so they'll raise their prices. Additionally, the bargaining power of buyers. Our buyers are all the various sales points that we sell to. Ultimately, that gas will end up with consumers, but at the sales point, that gas price is set by the market. So we don't really have any competitive advantage over sales price. We all pay the same price at all those different markets. Also, too, we need transportation at all those markets. So the availability of pipeline in order to transport gas, there's a lot of risk there. So you can create all the gas you want, but there's not the pipeline to get it to market. You can't sell your gas. So both of those are marked as high risk. Threat of new entrants and threat of substitute products. I have those both as low to moderate. As far as new entrants, it's a very expensive business with really no guarantees for any kind of production, even if you spent all that capital. So it's a very high risk. There's a lot of technology and a lot of science involved, and so you have to kind of have that as a skill in order to be able to enter into this market. So really kind of a low to moderate risk. As far as the threat of substitute products, the substitute products would be your renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, and geothermal. Right now, the cost of those are on the higher end. However, I see over time that those costs are going to drop as they are already dropping now. So I have it marked as low to moderate, and I see that changing over time as those prices begin to drop, and so that will start to be more of an effect or more of a force that acting against our industry. Next, I'd like to look internally, and I would like to begin with the financial component of this presentation. So here I have displayed on the page some various financial ratios that assess a firm's valuation, their profitability, efficiency, and liquidity. As you can see right there, Range Resources and EQT both are a little debt heavy, and Range Resources, as we saw in the earlier slides, they're one of the largest producers in the basin, and they're challenged right now by the gas prices and by all the debt that they're carrying. They're probably going to be struggling over the next year to come out on the other side of this market at such low prices without making some serious changes. EQT has just had a change in leadership. They used to, about a year or so ago, they acquired Rice Energy, and now the leadership of the former Rice Energy has now taken over EQT. So they are looking at reducing their capital expenditures and also reducing their debt. And looking at all operators, Southwestern has enough liquid assets to cover their short-term debt, and CNX is close behind them with this ratio. And the asset ratio for all operators is low for all peers, probably because we have scaled back operations because of the low commodity price, and this in turn is affecting how quickly we're turning over our assets. I'd like to now look at some specific financial metrics for CNX. And our current strategic objective is to increase production and our EBITDAX per share growth, and also to reduce our leverage ratio. As you can see from the top graph, we have improved our EBITDAX per share of approximately 145%, despite having an 11% decline in gas prices over that same period. On the chart below, you can see how we have reduced our leverage ratio from 2016 through 2019. Please note that in 2017, at the end of that year, that is when we became an independent natural gas drilling operator, because we separated from Consol Energy. I'd like to briefly mention some of our core competencies. I have listed here our hedge book, safety and compliance, and technology. Our hedge book is a strategy that we're using to counteract the low gas prices, and we have one of the strongest hedge books in the basin. And what this allows us to do, it allows us to kind of protect and provide a steady revenue stream, irregardless of the gas prices. There does come a risk with this. If the gas prices do rise, we could potentially lose money, but gas prices, at least over the next year or more, are still going to stay deflated, so we see that as a core competency. Safety and compliance, this is one of our core values, and we take it very seriously. And we have a team at our company that is solely interested in look after our safety for our whole entire operations, whether it's internal in the offices or even external out in the field. And technology, we have several initiatives that kind of set us apart as far as technology goes. We have an integrated real-time operations center that monitors all operations from one center, and it helps us to collaborate and streamline processes. We use data and analytics for predictive and prescriptive analysis, and we'll also use a lot of modeling and optimization. I would like to highlight a few of the items on the SWOT analysis that I think are important to note. So for strengths and weaknesses, I actually have the same item on both sides, and that is the gas price and our ability to react to gas prices. I think we do a good job of reacting to them and scaling back operations and scaling back spending according to where the gas price is. However, that's also a weakness because the level of scaling back that we do is very disruptive to operations, the workforce, and it is very reactionary. So we let the gas price drive our operations, and I'd rather see us be more proactive in that regard. A couple of things that I want to point out in the opportunities are our midstream and water infrastructure. We have a very sophisticated water and midstream infrastructure, and I see an opportunity for us during this low gas price time to expand upon that and build that out more. And that can really be beneficial when prices do rise, that we could take advantage of those. We also, during this low gas price time, could take advantage of acquiring more land assets from other operators or may be looking to offload some debt. So that would be a good opportunity to look for that. Threats, I had mentioned those before on the pestle analysis. Obviously, any new politicians that are in office and get elected, from the president down to our local communities, can have a big effect on laws and regulations that we have to follow. In addition, the gas prices are directly related to oil prices, and we get a lot of our oil from the Middle East. So political and foreign policies that take place in other countries and the relations that we have with those countries is very important when we look at the stability of our industry as well. Some of the strategic issues that I think are present for CNX Resources is our ability to react appropriately to the volatile gas environment. We are in a commodity market. We understand that and we know that. But I feel like that we're very reactionary to this market, and I think there are other practices and strategies we can put in place to better react to that. We need to look for other ways to further differentiate us from our peers in our basin. And we typically have only expanded organically with land assets and midstream. And also, when we do react to the low gas prices, we lose a lot of resources and capabilities within our workforce. And again, that's very disruptive to be able to react in that way. So it takes a lot of time to recover from that. I would like to see a more leveled approach to the gas price environment. I would like to have plans in place to be able to be proactive when the gas